steals it. Mitchell still showing plenty of endurance. Rises up. Oh, are you kidding me? What a courageous shot from Kelsey Mitchell.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Man, what a game we just witnessed tonight. If you're an Indiana Fever fan, you've got every reason to be excited after watching this one. Once again, Caitlin Clark put together another spectacular performance, and I think it's safe to say what a lot of people have been waiting to see is finally happening. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are back. They look comfortable, they look confident, and they look like they're building the chemistry that made this team so dangerous. The biggest thing that stood out to me wasn't even the offense at first, it was the defense. The Indiana Fever were trailing for the majority of this game, and honestly, I thought things were about to get ugly. Going into halftime, it looked like they were getting outplayed, and I was sitting there thinking this could turn into a damn massacre if they didn't make some serious adjustments. But give credit where credit is due, Stephanie White and Brianna January deserve a lot of praise. Whatever happened inside that locker room during halftime completely changed the game. They came out with a different energy, a different defensive mindset, and they completely shifted the momentum. On the other side, Breanna Stewart was doing what superstars do. She was attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line, and it felt like every whistle was going her way. But then something changed. The Fever started getting stops. They started forcing difficult shots. They pushed the pace, and before you knew it, the entire flow of the game belonged to Indiana. I'm telling y'all right now, this team is starting to look dangerous. They are doing everything necessary to put themselves in position for a legitimate championship run. Yeah, I said championship. Some people might think that's too early, but if they continue playing basketball like this, they're going to give a lot of teams problems. And let's talk about Caitlin Clark. She looks healthy, she looks comfortable, she looks confident. Whatever back issue she was dealing with doesn't seem to be slowing her down anymore. She was moving well, making the right reads, knocking down shots, creating opportunities for everybody else, and simply playing lights-out basketball. It wasn't one of those games where she exploded immediately either. She took a little time to settle in, got her rhythm, found her confidence, and once she did, everything started clicking. That's what great players do. They don't panic after a slow start. They trust their game. I've got to give another shout out to Stephanie White because whatever adjustments she made completely flipped this basketball game. Coaching matters, and tonight was another example of that. Even when Caitlin Clark checked out with around a minute remaining, you could tell this game was already in control. Overall, I couldn't be happier watching her back out there looking like herself again. Now let's get into this box score because there are a few things that deserve recognition. One thing that immediately jumped out was the fact that every single player who entered the game for the Indiana Fever scored points. You don't see that very often. That tells you this wasn't just one player carrying the team. Everybody contributed. Monique Billings gave quality minutes off the bench. She finished with 4 points while shooting 2 for 5 from the floor and continued bringing hustle plays whenever her number was called. Aaliyah Boston quietly put together another excellent game with 15 points and 7 rebounds. She's becoming more aggressive every game, and when she's playing with confidence alongside Caitlin Clark, this offense becomes so much harder to defend. Then you've got Kelsey Mitchell. We already know she's one of the most competitive players in the league. She wasn't about to let Caitlin Clark have all the damn headlines by herself. Kelsey Mitchell came out firing. 33 points in only 30 minutes is ridiculous efficiency. She knocked down 4 of 6 from three-point range, went 10 of 14 from the free throw line, and added an assist that I believe went to Caitlin Clark. Now let's get to the star of the night, Caitlin Clark. She only played 26 minutes, which honestly still blows my mind. Apparently, the Indiana Fever are continuing with these damn minute restrictions. I thought by now they would have completely taken those limits off, especially seeing how healthy she looks. But I guess they're thinking about the long-term picture, even if fans don't necessarily agree with it. Regardless of the limited minutes, she made every possession count. That's what elite players do. They maximize every second they're on the floor. Looking at the overall team numbers, the Indiana Fever shot an outstanding 54% from the field. They also knocked down 50% of their three-point attempts, finished 20 of 27 from the free throw line, and grabbed 32 total rebounds. Those are championship-level offensive numbers. The one thing that still concerns me is the turnovers. The Fever continue giving the basketball away far too much. It's becoming a recurring issue, and eventually that's going to catch up with them. Tonight, they escaped with a win, but if they play a disciplined team like Minnesota, those mistakes could absolutely come back to bite them. You simply cannot keep handing good teams extra possessions and expect to survive every night. Now let's talk about these damn referees. There were 48 total fouls called between both teams, with the Indiana Fever getting hit for 24 of them. It honestly felt like every little bit of contact in the second half was getting called against Indiana. The whistle was non-stop, and it completely disrupted the rhythm of the game. Still, Caitlin Clark continued attacking, continued drawing contact, and continued getting to the free throw line. Love her or hate her, she keeps putting pressure on defenses every possession. Finally, we've got to talk about the play involving Jonquel Jones and Caitlin Clark, because that clip is about to be everywhere tomorrow. That screen was hard as hell. Caitlin Clark got absolutely rocked, and social media is going to be debating it non-stop. Looking at it live, I couldn't believe there wasn't a stronger reaction from the officials. Damn, that kind of play is exactly the type of thing that's going to have fans arguing all day long. Overall, this was a massive win for the Indiana Fever. The defense stepped up, the stars delivered, the coaching adjustments worked, and Caitlin Clark continues to look more and more like the superstar everybody expected. If they keep building on performances like this, don't be surprised if this team becomes one of the biggest threats in the WNBA.
That's a legal screen. I mean, I know it's a lot of contact, but Jones was there.
Stewart will hit the free throw in New York out to a 9-2 lead. And then a technical is called. And I believe that was against Caitlin Clark. So a very hard screen. Here it is, Clark trying to fight through the action, gets leveled by Jonquel Jones.
That's a legal screen. I mean, I know it's a lot of contact, but...
So, as you guys saw right there, the referees are still on their bullshit, bro. Caitlin Clark got hit extremely hard and there was no call. But I'll tell you one thing, by the second half of that damn game, they got it together. They got it together very, very quickly. Quickly, swiftly, and fast. Now, I've got to keep it real because there were still some things in this game that frustrated me. Even though the Indiana Fever got the win, I don't think Stephanie White coached a perfect game. If you're not going to run the pick and roll with Caitlin Clark, then put Aaliyah Boston down on the block and let her go to work. Post her up. That's where she's at her best. Stop making things more complicated than they need to be. The offense looked stuck at times, especially during the first half, and the defense was honestly piss poor. The Fever were getting cooked from everywhere on the floor, and it looked like they had no answers early. Another thing that drove me crazy was the way Caitlin Clark was being managed. She kept getting taken out with about 3.5 minutes left in every quarter. Man, enough with these damn minute restrictions already. The only reason she even got back into the game late in the second quarter was because Kelsey Mitchell picked up her third foul. Otherwise, Caitlin Clark would have been sitting on the bench again. How is a player supposed to build any rhythm when she's constantly coming in and out of the game? Basketball is all about timing, confidence, and momentum. Every time Caitlin Clark starts getting comfortable, she's headed right back to the bench. The girl has already said she feels fine. She looks healthy. She looks confident. So let her play basketball. Sometimes it even feels like she's forcing the offense because she knows she's about to be taken out. Instead of letting the game come to her naturally, she's rushing possessions, trying to make something happen before the substitution comes. That doesn't help anybody. And don't even get me started on these damn referees. Caitlin Clark got shoved multiple times while attacking the basket, and there were several possessions where she should have been standing at the free throw line. Instead, the whistles stayed silent. It was frustrating to watch because the contact was obvious. Whether you agree or disagree, the officiating was inconsistent throughout the night. Now, let's give credit where it belongs. Kelsey Mitchell absolutely exploded in the second half. She was phenomenal. 33 points while shooting 10 of 14 from the field and 4 of 6 from three-point range is elite efficiency. She came alive after a quiet first half and completely changed the offensive momentum. We already know Kelsey Mitchell is a scorer, first, second, and third. Passing has never been her priority, and that's okay. That's why Caitlin Clark handles most of the playmaking responsibilities. Aaliyah Boston also looked much better after halftime. She finished with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 turnovers. It wasn't her cleanest game overall, but she definitely made a bigger impact in the second half when Indiana started controlling the pace. The biggest difference in this game, though, was the defense. During the first half, the New York Liberty couldn't miss. Maureen Johannes was knocking down everything, hitting 4 of her first 5 three-pointers. They were shooting an unbelievable percentage from deep, and it felt like every shot was going in. But everything flipped after halftime. The Indiana Fever locked in defensively. Breanna Stewart still finished with her numbers, but outside of that, Indiana made life difficult for everyone else. Jonquel Jones became much quieter during the second half, Maureen Johannes cooled off after her hot start, and Sabrina Ionescu never really found a consistent rhythm. The bench deserves a ton of credit as well. Maisha Hines-Allen gave quality minutes, Michaela Timpson continued showing growth with strong rebounding and solid defense, Sophie Cunningham came in firing from three-point range once again, and Ty Harris provided efficient scoring along with excellent playmaking. The Indiana Fever's bench simply outplayed the New York Liberty's second unit. At the end of the day, this was another huge win. Caitlin Clark finished with 17 points and 7 assists despite limited minutes, and considering it's one of her first back-to-back stretches after returning, that's perfectly fine. The most important thing is that Indiana continues stacking wins. The Fever are now 16-10 and playing some really solid basketball. If they continue defending the way they did in the second half, while allowing Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell to play freely, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. One thing Caitlin Clark does need to clean up are the technical fouls. She picked up her 6th technical, and she doesn't want to put herself in danger of missing games because of unnecessary frustrations. That's something she'll have to manage moving forward. Overall, though, this was a strong team victory, with plenty of positives to build on. Get down in the comments and let me know what y'all thought about this game. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.